Welcome everyone, I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 21. Got pleasantly surprised because this week there was I say this week, you guys probably aren't going to see this video till next week, but this Apex Battle event has happened, which opened up Thursdays and Fridays for Apex, so I had the time to go ahead and play this on a Thursday. Also, any victories we get, I believe all below gold, we actually get extra victory points or whatever, or ranking points. So we're definitely going to go ahead and take advantage of that. I'm in no hurry to get to gold 3, so I'm just going to see what I'm going to go up against. So my opponent here. So we're doing Floating Courtyard, which is generally a map I generally don't like, and I'm playing as player 2, which I generally don't like either. But my opponent has... looks like 2 main tanks. Yep, 2 main tanks. Has the usual staples, Enya and Dragon Slayer. And then the rest of it... There's 4 primary healers. Yeah, this is practically a tank push box. I mean, there's some characters that can bypass guard and do some shenanigans. But yeah, this is mostly heals, tanks, and just have a few aces that hopefully try to get the advantage. Immediately banned their Dragon Slayer, and they immediately banned my Lightbringer. So I was a little surprised by this because usually they ban Enya first. That really isn't going to change my game plan, unfortunately, because I don't like first picking Enya because I'm just not good with her. I'm very terrible with her, actually. So they take Lightbringer right off the back. So they also don't take Enya. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna ban your Enya, get rid of your Elia, and since you seem to like to get rid of my tanks, I'll go ahead and grab Christine at this point because it's definitely look like push versus push here. So they get rid of Hibiscus and Ilia, and go straight for Bright Summer. At this point, I wasn't sure if this one was a healer or the mage version. Like, I had no idea, because this box here is very, very pushy. I go ahead and get rid of their Celica, get rid of the Awakened one. I definitely did not want to give them self-reses, like, at all. Didn't want to give any self-reses or cooldown reductions. I also didn't want to deal with any swapping potential, or anything that can slow down my potential abilities to rush if I need to. So I get rid of the Awakened one as well. I grab my Lightbringer. They get rid of Enya, get rid of Virelia at this point, and they grab Rose and Seal. So yeah, right off the bat, my opponent is just grabbing like staple tank pushy stuff. Like, got the tank, got the healer. Technically has at least one person that can guard bypass to try to oppose the other tank push. I go ahead and get rid of their Sovereign of the Ice Abyss, get rid of their Isolde, and I go ahead and grab my Sovereign of the Ice Abyss. There's a good chance they have a lot of ways to negate displacement. But this will at least allow me to put some pressure if necessary. Also, at this point, my options were kind of limited, so I was like, alright, we'll just grab this and see if we can find a cheeky opportunity to pull somebody. They go ahead and get rid of SP Tiaris, get rid of my Randall, and they grab their Randall, so I was like, alright, cool. This is my first time going up against a Randall, I believe. So at this point, I was like, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't picked Jace yet. So I'll get rid of Jace, get rid of Tiaris, and just leave them with Elma and Christiane. If they want a second tank, by all means. Elma will be annoying because obviously she can put up mirrors and reflect and do fixed damage and reduce magic damage and all that nonsense. But this group is actually kind of slow as far as tank pushing is concerned. So, well, tank push is generally slow to begin with, but I was pretty confident that I might be able to just out-rush them to the middle at this point. So, need a healer. Grab Rose and Seal. Because obviously, we're going to be dealing with a lot of debuffs coming our way from Randall, as well as some potential debuffs from if this is a mage, which we already know on the screen here, it's a mage Bright Summoner. So, anything that can reduce the amount of debuffs we take is the best. And then my opponent went ahead and banned the rest of my healers, which I was completely fine with, leaving me with Audun Kelmo or the Awakened one. The Awakened one's not going to really get anywhere with this. We got mirrors and crystal stacks to deal with. They grab their Elma, and I grab Audun Kelmo. Alright, so I did already start off with a mistake, but I'll talk about that in a second. Alright, let's talk about their stuff. So Elma with Holy Knights, which actually, as far as tank pushing is concerned, Holy Knights is actually kind of a great call. The ability to just be able to move through your own units without using up mobility is actually pretty crazy. In any case, Elma was SP Holy Knights, Light Mirror, 3C, and regular healing. Randall here brought SP Wizards, and she has also, I think she might be 6 stars. I could check that after. Has Dark Realm in the box, which is the thing that lets her convert some of her magic defense to additional intelligence, and then she has 3C, and then she has Dark Reaper. So focused on single target, and then pretty much all of her debuffing is going to come from her talent. Rosen Seal here has Sorceresses, brought Crystal Restoration, yeah, all of her Crystal heals, and then actually brought Faction Buff. I'm assuming it's for herself and Rendell, maybe? That's probably my guess, because Lightbringer here can only buff Holy Class, and the only Holy Class here is Elma. Speaking of, Lightbringer here has Royal Protectors, and then brought 3C, Strengthen, and Mass Resist. And then Bright Summoner here is Mage Class, as mentioned before, doesn't have boots, has Sorceresses, and then has 3C, all of her summons, and then Holy Dragon Breath. Alright, so the mistake I made is for some reason I keep thinking Bright Summoner in Mage form has Flight. She does not, she has All Terrain. So putting her here actually puts her pretty much incapable of actually doing any sort of rushing. To be fair, I don't think rushing is really possible. I don't think it's going to be possible, so it is what it is. Anyway, my Bright Summoner brought Fairy Spirit Prophets. I did go ahead and stick with Holy Dragon Breath. I definitely toned down the AoE since obviously this is not. I'm not going to be doing anything with AoE with this group. But I went ahead and stuck with Holy Dragon Breath because it does dispel buffs, and maybe we can get lucky with it. Also, I could put out Terrain if you happen to have the Lightning Unicorn out. Anyway, Christiane here, I brought Angels. Yeah, this is all magic. Yeah, none of them got cheeky and brought any. I don't even know if they have access to archers, archer troops or not. But yeah, this is all magic, and I have Angels, so good times to go. All of our exclusives, nothing much else to say about that. Sarvan the Ice Abyss, I brought Fairy Spirit Prophets, and then all of her exclusives. Rosen Seal, I have Shrine Maidens and all healing. And then Autumn Kelmo, I brought SP Wizards, and I went 3C Fireball, and then I swapped out Dark Hole for Oracle from Beyond. Alright, everything's set up, let's dive into this. So right off the bat, they only push their tank one step forward. Now, a few things I'll obviously be aware of is we can get Bright Summoner to here, and then she can summon either to these 3 tiles, and then move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then shoot out to potentially 3 range if she has a range staff. So that's something to be aware of with Bright Summoner. And then Randall, obviously, if she throws out enough of her abilities, she can act again, move 2 steps and act again. So she can go to here and then move there and then go potentially all the way out to here if you have range staff. So definitely a lot of actual range despite the lower mobilities. So I go ahead and push as far as I can with my Christiane, which is only a step ahead because I had mine set towards the middle rather than towards the bottom. Elma's going to go ahead and throw out Light Mirror, which is a bit early, but got nothing better to do, I suppose. I mean, it does last a while. It lasts like 3 rounds. And for those who haven't watched my videos where I've been using Randall, anytime anyone, whether it's opponent or ally, finishes their turn after moving 3 steps, it will give her a stack up to 5. So she's already maxed out on stacks. So I go ahead and just kind of throw some portals out. This is mainly just so I can get to the center faster. Their Bright Summoner did a regular summon, so this is not the upgraded one. And it's just kind of hanging out. So essentially what this setup is, what Bright Summoner can potentially do is switch over to the 3C version, and then have it run up and hit somebody, and then act again with Bright Summoner and follow up with that. So that's something I have to be aware of. So I'm definitely going to try to stay within guard range as much as I can. So I go ahead and do Mass Crystal Healing here, just to get stacks up, and some passive healing if I get hit with some AoEs, and take advantage of the portal to get me ever closer to the center. Also, just out of curiosity... Alright, a few things to note. Both Rosenseal and Elna have the, I think it's like electric headband. I don't remember what the helmet's called, but it's essentially the helmet that will, if they end their turn adjacent to an ally, they will give themselves and one random adjacent ally some extra counterattack damage and immunity to displacement. So Lightbringer's always immune to displacement with her 3C active, and then so right now all 4 of these units are actually immune to displacement. So something to know. It's possible that Randall also has it, but I'm not entirely certain. Also, Lightbringer here does not have a butterfly. I was just making sure. So I'll go ahead and just push forward a little bit. I was kind of tempted to try to do some chain stuff to see if I can get Bright Summoner closer, but I decided to just go ahead and play it safe and just hang out. So their Randall does have the debuff staff, so I'm getting hit with 2 debuffs every time. And you can see it eats up crystal stacks like crazy. So yeah, so she used 4 of them? Yeah, I believe she used 4 of them. Actually, she might have used only 3. Not sure. Well, she used enough to get an act again, and then used the remaining stack she had to go ahead and throw debuffs on the Bright Summoner. So I actually got it. One of the debuffs did actually get through, which was cannot use passive skills. So I go ahead and just play it safe. I could have probably teleported closer. I wasn't entirely certain where the position of the teleport was going to go. So what I'm referring to right now is Rosenseal's standing on the portal. So if I were to go onto this portal, it would actually put me probably here, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I was concerned if I ended up in these 2 positions, I would have been out of guard range. Anyway, my opponent runs up, does some lightning bolts, which puts out some terrain. Portals have priority, so those spots are still safe at least. But yeah, Crystal Healing took care of the AoE damage, and then we got hit with the other effects, and of course we're getting some debuffs from this as well. Yeah, reduces magic defense and regular defense. Actually, let me... Where is that debuff coming from? Okay. I'm just wondering what the terrain was doing. Reduces magic defense. Oh, I think I understand now. Yeah, Thunderstorm does reduces defense. The terrain itself reduces magic defense. Okay. Sorry about that. I know how to play this game sometimes. Alright, my opponent decides just to hang out, though. So I'm like, okay. My opponent does not care about losing their unbuffed summon, because they still have 3C to resummon if necessary. So at this point, I'm pretty safe. Randall's already done her act again, so it's on cooldown. So I'm able to safely move forward now without putting my backline at risk. So as you can see, I'm almost to the center. For those who don't know, the center 6 tiles is where the mist eventually converges on. And my opponent is still very out of position. Even if Lightbringer rushes right now, she would not be able to reach the middle in time. So I'm going to use the opportunity to go ahead and kill the summon. And then use that to take an extra, and then use my boots my spirit shoes to go ahead and get in position to block. Flying units can definitely stand on the pillars, but for right now I'm just taking the ground spots just to ensure my opponent doesn't take them. So yeah, my opponent is definitely focusing on debuffing Bright Summoner as much as possible. So at this point, it's guaranteed I'm going to teleport here, which is fine. I could have just moved there normally. The only reason I didn't, and I chose the teleport instead, was because moving to the teleport only uses up 1 movement, and it ensures that Randall doesn't get another stack. So my opponent is buffed up to Oblivion at this point. 3C is active. but I'm not really in any danger. So we're just going to keep going. I go ahead and throw out Miracle. I want to make sure I'm at 100% HP, just in case the buffed up summon comes my way and starts bypassing guard. Speaking of... Right. Yeah. I think even with crit, it would not have gotten kill. I mean, I have Miracle active right now, so I have damage reduction on top of that, and then Christian's nearby to provide damage reduction as well. So pulls back the summon, decides not to follow up, which is fine. I did also have Floral Regalia active, so if the follow-up happened to be an AoE, I was kind of ready for it. Alright. So right now, everyone except for Bright Summoner and the Unicorn are immune to displacement right now. The Holy Relic, by the way, is always immune to... or sorry, the Light Flame here is always immune to displacement. So yeah, I have no opportunities to really do any sort of shenanigans right now. But I'm already taking the center, and my opponent's not really putting any pressure on me. I was a little torn on where exactly I was going to position. Mainly because what I want, obviously, is to get Christiane to the middle here so she can guard all the tiles. But doing that does put me at risk, because Randall does have her Act Again active. So I didn't want to put my backline at risk. I actually spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted to move. So I move here, go ahead and summon my 3C summon. Move in to use this to go ahead and take out their summon. Good times had by all. Does some passive healing, which is always great. I go ahead and test the tank at this point. I want to go ahead and do Oracle from Beyond. Takes out the troops, but that's about it. And then I get hit with some fixed damage thanks to the mirror. So I go ahead and teleport back onto the portal and get out of range. Alright. Alma's going to get some free damage in. Alright, I go ahead and push into position. And I got my Effulgent stacks off, so she has her full buff active. Go ahead and use this opportunity to go ahead and get Sovereign of the Ice Abyss all healed up. Randall's going to go ahead and kill my summon with 3C. This will ensure that some debuffs get thrown my way as well. But my crystal stacks soak it all. And then we get hit with more of this. Gets an act again, but she already used all 5 of her stacks, so she didn't really have a follow-up, besides just cycling cooldown. So just in case, I decided to go ahead and do a chain pull on Autumn Kelmo to get her in guard range. And then I go ahead and just use this opportunity to go throw some ice out. I'll take some fixed damage because of this, but just fine. You can see all that passive healing going off. Unfortunately, the ice got pretty much in all the wrong places, but that's okay. So I did left the metal tile open. Lightbringer can't reach. So if Elma or someone else tries to push there, I would just kill them instead. Randall just did a regular attack. Oh no, she did. Wait, that was Dark Reaper. Wait, was that seriously Dark Reaper? I mean, I did have my armor proc. 40 damage. So, minimum damage that a quote-unquote attack can do is 1, and you attack about 40 times between your troops and your own attack. But wow. I mean, let's do some math, I guess. 25% reduction. I don't have efflusion stacks upping the damage at all. Another 10% there is 35. That brings it up to 50%. Angels reduced by 45%. Or yeah, reduces by 45%, and I procced my armor. So yeah, that is pretty much. I think that's like. I mean, I don't know exactly how they work together between them and the troops, but yeah, I think I was around 100% magic damage reduction there. So, Dark Reaper does not deal extra damage. It just reduces magic defense, but it doesn't matter when I'm reducing magic damage by upwards of 100%. So yeah, crazy. So I have nothing to worry about. So go ahead and use the opportunity to go ahead and just move in. So I have the center now, and the tank moved forward, probably trying to push to the center, but doing so took Rose and Seal out of guard range. Rose and Seal did have sorceresses, and they were at 100% life, which does give extra magic defense. But I do have high ints. I do have extra damage coming my way. Yeah, increases all damage, increases intelligence, increase damage, increase intelligence. So yeah, this was, as long as I did, what, 24,000? Pure Radius did dispel one buff. Yeah, I did 27,000, so it was kind of close, but not, it was still safe. So at this point, my opponent has no way of actually applying crystal barriers now, but there are those stupid mirrors still in the way. But I go ahead and use this opportunity anyway to go ahead and throw out a 3C and just start trying to get rid of some of the crystal stacks as much as I can. Of course, majority of these are mirrors, so I'm just going to kind of end up hurting myself from this. By a lot, quite actually, but that's okay. I'm going to get hit with Holy Dragon Breath. My opponent had to position here, obviously, because the tank takes guard range. Autumn Camo started getting beat up at this point, but not a real big deal. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a Regalia on her just in case, though I think all the AoEs have been used already. Autumn Camo at one point did actually have heal negation up, but it only lasted for about one round. So my opponent decides to buff in place, because she can't shuffle. If she moves at all from this position, she's out of guard range. But unfortunately for my opponent, since I took out Rose and Seal, Elma's over here, and so she's not applying that electric headband stuff anymore. Raindell doesn't have one, and neither does Bright Summoner. So right now, the only people that are immune to displacement are Lightbringer and the Light Flame. And all my stuff is off cooldown now, so I'm just going to go over here and yank my opponent down one space, and this is when my opponent gives up. So I don't actually know the result for this attack. But yeah, nice little tank push on tank push combat. I'm so used to seeing my tanks just die, because that's what majority of the characters like Ymir and stuff do to my tanks. But when it comes to magic damage, Christian with Angels, you're not going to get very far. So, pretty good. Got some nice victory points from that. I'm no longer borderline D-ranking on this, which is good. Go ahead and take a look at the data, which was constantly getting updated. So I have a 100% win rate in floating courtyard. That's not going to last. And as far as our setup here, only 2 characters we haven't used yet. That match we just did was the first match where we used Rose and Seal, and she won. So good for her. The 2 characters I haven't used yet have 100% ban rate so far, though Enya usually gets banned first, then Celica will usually get banned at some other point. But yeah, looking pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, the characters I've used the most are all up here. Yeah, it's really neat. I really like this extra data stuff. Yeah, you can see here, I'm currently Silver 1. Here are my most used units that are, I think, that are ranked by strength. Fortunately, Randall only has a 33% win rate. But yeah, pretty neat stuff. That'll probably be it for this week, though I'll probably have already done a match for the week that you guys are watching this on. But until then, I am the Depressed Viewer. This is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 21. I'll see you guys later.